What's going on, everyone? South Bay Rebel here, and today we're going to be looking at the long-awaited, much-debated Captain Rex's Y-Wing Microfighter. And we'll get into why there was some controversy around this set a little later in the video, but to kick things off, we're going to look at the packaging. It's got some nice side art, but I really appreciate the art on the back of the box. I like that scenery. It's a cool, colored landscape that looks like an ideal place to land a Y-Wing. So digging the box art there, and as we move on to the top of the box, we of course have that 1:1 scale, and they are using the Captain Rex minifigure to represent that scale. And once again, this is the Captain Rex Y-Wing Microfighter, set number 75391 with 99 pieces. Decent art on the instruction manual as well, and I did appreciate that the bags are actually numbered. Now there's only 2 of them, but they are numbered, and that's nice. There's also a little nod to the 25th anniversary inside the instruction booklet, which is cool as well. I did notice, I don't know if anyone else caught this, but a slight discrepancy, that clear blue piece there with 2 studs on it. It's there on page 7, and then it's not on page 8. Just a weird miss on Lego's part. Wonder if anybody else caught that. Comment below if you did. Jumping into the finished product now, and this thing looks pretty good. As far as microfighters go, it's decent sized. It has some nice color that pops. Nice blue, nice white, some gray thrown in there for contrast. And I think it looks pretty dang good. Now, of course, the star of the show for a lot of people is that minifigure, but I didn't want to show the finished product with the minifigure included in the Microfighter because it really does tie everything together. I think it looks nice as a complete package, and I don't want that to be discounted here, even though most people are just here for the Captain Rex minifigure. I think it looks good with him inside and really ties the whole thing together nicely. We're going to dive into that Captain Rex figure in just a few here, but first I wanted to take a look at just the ship itself as a standalone build, and it's pretty decent. I think we all would have liked to have seen a full play scale size Y-Wing fighter for Captain Rex here, but this is what we got, and for better or worse, it's not so bad. It's got a nice printed console piece in the cockpit. There's nice purple thrusts on the back of the Y-Wing that really add a pop of color. My only complaint there is that from the side view, it gets a little lost. It really only pops if you're looking at the back of the ship, but it does pop nonetheless, and I do like that color that they've splashed in there. I like the blue and the white. That's true to his ship in all of the Star Wars media and universe, and it has some playability with those stud shooters mounted on each side of the front cockpit area. Looking down into that cockpit area, you see he has a 4-stud area for sitting down into the ship, and usually that area is just 2 studs with the other half of it being smooth. So you've got a 4-stud area still, but only 2 actual studs and then 2 smooth spots. But in this case, they went with 4. I think it was a stack up issue. If they added that extra piece where it's half and half on top of these 4 studs, then it would have made him sit too high out of the ship and looked weird. So I don't blame him for that here. And that brings us to the minifigure in this set, which is none other than Captain Rex himself, looking pretty good here. Now, he's got the normal issues that you would expect to see, and we have been complaining about for some time now, and that is the helmet hole issues. Also, that rangefinder on the side of the helmet that has it is not the best. I'll show you later. It looks okay folded down, but anytime you attempt to fold it down or back up, if it's already down, it just falls out. So they can't even execute the holes and what their purpose is without it having issues in themselves. That and the oversized pauldron are really the only complaints about the figure itself. The face print looks nice. Kind of wish they had an alternate on the back side of the head, but still a good face print nonetheless, and no complaints there. The pauldron is a bit big. It covers up some nice printing on the arms and detail there, but other than that, it's a pretty solid fig, and it should be, because that's where the controversy comes in here. This figure was already included in a $650 set, that being the UCS Venator. And the issue here is that somewhere either in the instruction manual for that set or in the advertisement from Lego's website, they advertised that minifigure as being exclusive to that set. And lots of people, I imagine, went out and, being fans of Captain Rex and knowing that the existing Captain Rex figures on the market were in pretty high demand and short supply, which in turn drove the cost up on those on the secondary market like eBay or Bricklink, they went out and they bought this thinking they were going to get an awesome Venator class UCS build as well as a cool Captain Rex figure. And they weren't wrong. It's a good figure, but it ended up not being exclusive to that set because they turned around and released it in this set for the low price of $12.99. Now, I personally didn't pick up the UCS Venator. As much as it's an awesome build, it's just too far out of my budget at $650, and that means I didn't already have a Captain Rex in my collection. So when they announced that this was coming out, I was pretty excited, and I'm glad to have picked it up, especially at that low price point. But I also can see the other side of things. Lego said one thing, it may have enticed some people to buy this product at that high price point, and then they went back on their word. And that's a bit unsettling at the end of the day. Now, personally, I wouldn't, even if I had the money, have gone out and bought this Venator for $650 just for the minifigure inside. I think that's a little silly. I think you gotta want the build. That's the bulk of the price point. That's why it's at that price. And to go out there and spend $650 on it just for this Captain Rex figure is just a little bit crazy, because then you're just essentially spending $650 on a minifigure. But anyways, I'm really glad to have got this figure finally into my collection. I'm glad that I waited and was able to pick it up at this $12.99 price point. I'm happy with this build as a Microfighter, even though Microfighters generally aren't something I gravitate towards. In this case, I think it was well worth it. And I'd love to know your guys' thoughts. How do you feel about Lego doing this, saying it was exclusive, then changing their minds and releasing it? Are you happy you got it anyways? Did you get the Venator thinking it was exclusive and are mad? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. Until the next time, take care everyone, and I will catch you on the flip side.